George Allen Kelly, the Arizona rancher, has his trial postponed. The government submitted an appeal to the Arizona Court of Appeals, and the court granted it. We were scheduled for trial September 6th, and it has been postponed. But I want to go through exactly what's happening in this case because we have a speedy trial issue, and we've got a lot of different issues kind of crashing into each other at the same time. Before we take a look at what the Court of Appeals did, which is postponing this is what happened at the last setting. The minute entry is from August 21st, 2023, and there was another prior court date that happened after this, but the minute entries are not available at the moment. But this is what has been happening recently. So you see, the last time we were in court, we had a bunch of people there, 3 county attorneys, we had 1 defense attorney, and another defense attorney from out of state appearing via Zoom. Brenna Larkin we're familiar with, and they were the attorneys in front of Judge Fink in Arizona. The minute entries tell us that the time is set for a continued hearing on the state's motion to preclude, sanction, and continue the trial, right? The government wants a continuance. The defense wants this to go right now. George Allen Kelly, the Arizona rancher, on charge for murder, wants this to happen because he has a right to a speedy trial, and the defense thinks that the government is not ready. They don't have witnesses and evidence that they're going to be able to use to win. So they say the court informs that the judge has reviewed the state's pleadings and its attachments. Brenna Larkin, for the defense, informs the court that based upon consultation with the other lawyer and their experts, George Allen Kelly in the defense has made the decision of not calling the experts at trial. And we've talked about this before. They were saying, we want a trial now. Why? Because the witnesses were not available. Somebody who was going to be a key witness was just gone, and they had to actually dismiss one of the aggravated assault charges against that person. This was a person who allegedly was victimized by George Allen Kelly shooting over his head, aggravated assault with a weapon. So they said that person was a victim of a crime. Well, that person is gone. So that charge has been dismissed. But what about the other so-called witness who is a victim, allegedly in this case? And the issue was that that person was also maybe not going to be available. And so the defense said, great, we got no witnesses. Let's go to trial, baby. And the government said, we're panicking now. We need more time. So what happened is when we were racing to this trial date, which was on September 6th, the defense was also possibly going to be precluded from using their experts because they didn't disclose or have experts available in time, because they've also got to disclose them prior to a certain deadline so that the government has time to know about what the defense has. So when they were not able to present that, the judge was warning the defense, saying, look, if you have your trial, we can have it here, but you may not be able to call your experts because of disclosure problems. So the defense made the decision to not call the experts. They said, that's fine, we don't need them, we're not going to use them, presuming that the government's case is going to be so weak, they're not going to have their witnesses. So what do you need the experts for? So we're playing this bluffing game a little bit, right? This is very high stakes, high tension, high volatility criminal defense work that they will only be kept as consulting experts. Therefore, and remember, this is a problem because what happens if they do have their witnesses and everybody shows up and the government's case is ready to go? Then the defense is caught flat-footed and they don't have expert witnesses available. So therefore, with said information, the defense counsel believes that the state motion is therefore moot. So saying, we're just ready to go, we're not going to use their expert witness. All their motions were about expert witnesses who we're not going to use, so their motions are now moot. The court is reporting that the prosecutors informed the court that they were not aware of defense counsel's decision as to the experts. Well, we didn't know that they're not going to use them. She says, we emailed Brenna multiple times and we received no replies at all. For the record, defense counsel Brenna and George Allen Kelly's team informs that they intend not to call the experts as witnesses for the trial. She says, look, we're going to decide who to call, and we just decided now, okay? We just decided 5 minutes ago. That's why we didn't respond to your stupid emails. Calm down. Said experts will only be used as consulting witnesses. So the state says, well, addresses her concerns as to the expert witnesses, and furthermore, she says, Judge, we need 2 weeks. This is the prosecutor. Please give us more time. Please help us. We need a continuance from the 6th. We're not ready for trial. Grant us time. A little bit of panic coming out, right? Right. We just, Your Honor, she just told us about experts, and I'm sure the judge said, well, it's her case. She doesn't have to call the witnesses if she doesn't want to call them. If she's not calling them, then what does she have to disclose it all for? And it doesn't violate any of the rules, so trial. So in addition, prosecutors tell the judge, well, we spoke with DRR, who is one of the alleged victims. There were 3 original charges, 1 for murder. There is a deceased person. There are 2 people charged with allegedly being victims of the aggravated assault. When they say George Allen Kelly allegedly shot this person, they are saying that he was shooting at and above or around these other people, which was assaulting them, even though they were not hit. One of them is not available anymore, and that case is now, that charge as to that victim has been dismissed. But DRR, there were some issues. What we were wondering, is he around? Apparently, DRR assured that he will testify at the trial. That's what the state says. That's what the prosecutors say. So Brenna and George Allen Kelly, they say, having indicated, they say, well, we're not calling any of our experts as witnesses. We're going to just be using them as consulting experts. They're not going to testify about anything. We're just going to say, hey, what's going on with this report? And they'll tell us about the report so that we can ask questions of the government's experts. So the government makes their claim, we need more time. And the judge comes out and says, well, if they're not using these witnesses, then the court denies the prosecutor's motions. The court denies the prosecutor's motions. Oh, that stinks for these prosecutors. They're very upset about this. However, it denies as moot. It's just irrelevant now. So not for any of the substantive reasons. It's just not relevant. The court also denies the motion to continue. Uh-oh. So the prosecutor's like, panicking. She's quivering in her chair because now she's like, we're not ready for this. We really need 2 weeks. The court is confident all the parties can prepare for trial. Get in gear. This is speedy trial practice like 101, right? This is the defense saying, we're ready. We know you're not ready. So see you in court. And it's like a high stakes game of poker, right? You're bluffing a little bit because what happens if the government is ready? The parties were informed of the trial date at the time of the defendant's arraignment. And so, hey, prosecutors, you knew about this date from the very beginning. You filed the charges, you brought the case, it's your case, and there was a firm trial date, and we've been talking about this for a long time now. So in the absence of compelling circumstances to make a judgment change, we're not changing anything. And so the court finds no compelling circumstances. Therefore, the trial date is affirmed for September 6, 2023. Wow. So George Allen Kelly's like, perfect, great. They're not going to have any witnesses. They're not going to have anything. This case is going to just be a dumpster fire. Let's go. The state informs that a notice of a withdrawal of aggravating factors was filed, meaning they're going to say that George Allen Kelly was not as aggressive, aggravating. He wasn't as monstrous, as much of a criminal as they originally alleged. So they're withdrawing 1 criminal charge. They're withdrawing the aggravating factors as well. And Brenna says, Your Honor, by the way, we did file a motion requesting that the dangerousness allegation be kept out of the guilt phase of trial and only come in at the aggravation phase, and says that we would agree with a smaller jury, 8 people instead of 12. The court says, okay, let's do it. We'll do an 8-person jury trial with 3 alternates for every weekend of the trial. So they schedule another hearing for August 29th. It is ordered from the judge that the parties meet and confer to a said hearing to stipulate on any challenges. Housekeeping matters are addressed. The government informs the court, Your Honor, we've got motions in limine we haven't ruled on. Judge says, no problem. We're going to resolve those before trial. We'll knock those out quickly. Nothing further? Anything else? No, nothing further. All right, hearing is adjourned, right? Those are the minute entries from what happened previously. And so the government's like, hey, we better do something about this. And guess what? They did. They filed what's called a special action, and they are taking this up to the Arizona Court of Appeals. And this was reported on by local news. They say Judge Thomas Fink said the Court of Appeals granted a stay on the trial. So that September 6th date is going to be postponed. The state requested this stay to the Court of Appeals after the trial postponed in previous hearings. This emergency grant came in just before another hearing was set to begin at 1 p.m. So the court at this moment has excused 100 summoned jurors from the trial scheduled originally for September 6th. This is what's going on in George Allen Kelly. The government is going to be saying they need more time to prepare their case and prosecute this man. The defense has been demanding a speedy trial. And so presumably all of this additional time is going to be added to the speedy trial calculations. And I don't know how much time they have left on the clock. So going to be interesting to follow. The government feels like they are panicking a little bit to me. If they were so ready to go and their case was rock solid, why is Kimberly Hunley asking for continuance after continuance after continuance? They don't have their reports ready. The last time we talked about this, one of their reports was not even properly disclosed to the defense, and they were freaked out about that. So what are they doing? Well, to me, it feels like it's a political prosecution against George Allen Kelly. Of course, we'll continue to cover.